Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Chelsea news video. First things first, guys, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And in today's video, we've got some breaking news to go through. Chelsea have frozen out youngster Josh Acheampong until he signs a new deal. Unless he does that, he will not feature for the Chelsea first team or the club's development side. This is quite a big story, one that I certainly wasn't expecting to come out today for sure. Acheampong is obviously highly regarded at Chelsea. He's 18 years old. He's a right back. He's featured for the first team, made his debut on the Pochettino last season in the Premier League, coming as a sub against Tottenham. And he also featured this season as well. He played about 25 minutes or so in the 5-0 win against Barrow in the Carabao Cup. But big news from The Athletic this afternoon that Chelsea, as I said, have taken the decision that Acheampong will not play for the club's first team or development squad until he signs a new contract. Now, it's a bit of a ballsy move. It's pretty strong action from the club, and the article itself says that Acheampong's current deal expires in 2026, and they have opened talks over an extension to secure his long-term future, but nothing has been finalised yet. In the summer, Chelsea regarded him as third choice in the pecking order of their right-backs behind Reece James and Gusto. Fair enough. I think we can all accept that. But Acheampong has not been named on the bench for Chelsea's games at Bournemouth or West Ham, despite James and Gusto being unavailable for selection through injury, with Maresca using Getafe and Fofana at right back instead. Acheampong's not played for the under-21s either, despite starting 4 of their first 5 games this season. And he's gone nearly a month without playing for Chelsea at any sort of level. And his omission is due to the contract talk stalling, and the club have told him the situation will not change unless he extends. Now, we already know there's been reports suggesting that he's a target in January for some clubs. He was linked with a move to Real Madrid. We know the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham, Newcastle have shown interest in him as well. But if we're talking about this situation, right, this is not the first time that Chelsea have taken a real strong stance against academy players. We saw it during contract negotiations with academy players. So I know I said I was surprised, but it shouldn't really come as too much of a surprise. You know, they've made it clear with more established players like Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher, they do not want players running their contract down into the last year and under. So I fully understand that. But there's a better way of dealing with this, in my opinion. There is absolutely a better way of dealing with this. But the Acheampong one's strange, isn't it? Because why have things escalated so much with a youngster who's made just 2 senior appearances for the club? Why have we taken such strong action against someone who is yet to really establish himself in the first team? Now, we know that Acheampong's highly regarded by the club, and I can understand why he would have questions about committing his long-term future for the club, given that in his preferred right-back position, that Malo Gusto and Reece James are comfortably better players of him, and it's going to be very, very difficult for him to force his way in. But in terms of what Chelsea have done, I can see both sides of the situation. New deal or not is kind of neither here nor there, but the answer is not to freeze him out. I really think that's ridiculous from the club. One thing that I did look up, and one thing that people that follow the academy very closely always point out, is that apparently the max length of the first professional contract you can sign as an academy player is a 2-year contract plus the remainder of the season. So apparently that's the current contract that Acheampong is on, the one that he literally signed earlier this year. So when you look at it, he's got 2 years left on his deal. Is it realistic to expect an academy player to sign a long-term deal when he's got 2 years left on his existing one? Freezing him out, I think, seems very, very harsh. And it's your duty, guys, as an academy to help develop your players and demonstrate that there is a pathway for them. It also doesn't help is that now that this has become public, if Chelsea are looking to sell him, they're just putting his value absolutely through the floor. Why hasn't this been dealt with behind the scenes? Why is the situation so public? We've seen it with the likes of Chilwell and Sterling. They are being asked about in press conferences. No one has asked about, why isn't Josh Acheampong playing much? What's going on with Acheampong's contractual situation, etc. So the only thing that happens here is that his value plummets, and you could have dealt with it behind closed doors, and either you show him that there's a pathway to the first team, or you get a good amount of money for him, even if he's kind of just played 21s and very limited first team football. But now that people know that he's not signing a deal, as a club, you lose massive bargaining power, huge bargaining power here. And look, it's up to him. But neither side is going to come out of this particularly well. There's not really any winners from this kind of situation. It's just the latest example, personally, in my opinion, of the club not treating players particularly well. Why do you need to freeze someone out? It's not like he's in the final year of his contract. He's still got just over 18 months left on his deal. So just under 18 months. What's the issue? What's the rush here? I get it that clubs are interested in him, but is that really the action that we should be taking against a talented youngster? I mean, holding him to ransom as such, almost blackmailing him to a degree, saying, "Oh, by the way, you're not going to play unless you sign a new contract." How's that going to get him to commit to a new deal? How on earth is that way of operating going to suddenly make Acheampong think, "Oh, do you know what? Yeah, I want to sign. These have bent me over a barrel. I want to sign." But it's clear that this is becoming the norm at this level of how players are being treated. Now, I get it that there's young players are more valuable now than they ever have been in the past because of PSR and whatnot, and academy players acting as pure profit and being really financially very beneficial. But this is not how you deal with things. This is not how you deal with things, guys. And let's hope that we can reach an amicable solution between the two parties, whatever happens. But we just don't want this becoming another situation that reflects badly on the club, and one where it could have been dealt with so much better. You don't want to lose talented players. Acheampong is a talented player. Look, they'll do what's best for their career and his career, and the clubs will do what they think's best for the club. But they should be. But Acheampong should be treated more respectfully. This is not the first time we've had the conversation about Chelsea treating players with a lack of respect, and that is definitely a concern. But let's wait and see what happens with this Acheampong situation and how it develops. But it's certainly not ideal for all involved, and it's poor behaviour from Chelsea, and it's something that we're having to say far too often. And I really don't like the way that the club operate in these situations. I get that they're trying to protect an asset, but you're not going to get someone to commit by freezing them out and basically holding them over a barrel unless they do what you want them to do. So that's kind of where I stand on that. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. But moving away from Acheampong into a potential player that might come in, although I don't know why we would need another player in this position. But reports from Spain, from Spanish outlet Relevo, reporting that Chelsea have inquired about 21-year-old Nigerian midfielder Christantus Uche from Getafe. The London club are following him closely. Now, if there's one position Chelsea do not need to add in, that is midfield. But here we are. According to this report, Chelsea are closely following the situation. Christantus Uche is 21. But he literally joined Getafe this summer from a Spanish third division side for €500,000. The report says he's been one of the breakout stars in La Liga this season, and Chelsea are one of the teams that have already inquired about him. Relevo add that because of his strength and speed, Uche has a profile that would fit perfectly in the Premier League, and Chelsea, who have been following and did not want to miss the opportunity to find out what the player's situation is. I don't understand why. He's a midfield player. We don't need that. But Getafe have used him all over the place. They've used him as a centre forward at times. They've used him as an attacking midfielder. But he's a midfield player. at heart. That's where he is. But I look at this and I just think, why? You know, you've got Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo. Then you've got Ugochukwu and Santos on loan. You've still got Cesare Casadei on the books. You've got Dewsbury Hall, who you signed in the summer. Why would you look at going for another midfield player? And why, if I'm Uche, would I look at Chelsea and think that's the right move for me in my career? Where is my pathway to minutes? This is someone that was playing third-tier Spanish football last season, and he's now got his move to Getafe. He's obviously had a good few months, and suddenly he's on the radar of clubs like Chelsea, reportedly. This, for me, if we did do it, stinks of let's flip him for a quick profit. You know, he'd go out on loan to Strasbourg or something. And we look to flip him on down a few seasons down the line. In my opinion, I don't know anything about this guy, but I'd find it very difficult to see how, if we did make a move for him, how he fits anywhere into the conversation of Chelsea first team players and getting regular minutes at the club. I just don't get it. So we all know that we're looking to do business, maybe not in January, but certainly next summer. Midfield is not a area of priority. Goalkeeper, centre back, and possibly a striker, depending on what the market's saying. And midfield is the last area on the pitch that we need to be looking at. But it's interesting we're being linked with these sorts of guys. But one thing I would say is, having seen, you know, the sorts of players we're scouting and how a number of players that we've scouted and identified have gone on to do very well at their various new clubs, I'm not going to turn my nose up at this guy. I don't know anything about him. I'm going to trust the scouts who have proven they're very good at identifying talent. But my main point would be, why do we need this guy? Why do we need to look at someone in the midfield position? That'll be my thoughts on that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it, guys. Christantus Uche from Getafe. Yeah, it's a no from me, just because we're so stacked in that area. And for me personally, he'd just be ruining his career and his development if he decided to come to Chelsea in the next year or two. Let's see how he develops and let's see what happens. But yeah, it's a no from me. It's an area we don't need to strengthen in, and that's my thoughts on it. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on the video in general, on the Acheampong situation, on Christantus Uche. Let me know. Smash the like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Big love to for all the support as always, guys. Catch you again in another one soon. Up the Chelsea, and peace out.